Hello, I'm Tomas, a former investigator, and today I want to take you behind the scenes of one of the most complicated cases of my career. Picture this. A young woman found dead in her own home, no signs of forced entry, no visible injuries, and an eerie, cryptic message on her computer screen. This case started as an ordinary investigation but quickly turned into a race against time, a race through the dark alleys of cyberspace to uncover a killer no one could see or track. This is the story of Emma Dawson, a brilliant but vulnerable young woman who became a target of a relentless hacker. And this is how we tracked down her killer, one line of code at a time. It all started with a late-night call. Emma's body was discovered by her friend, who had stopped by her apartment after Emma failed to respond to any messages. At first glance, nothing seemed out of place. No signs of struggle, no signs of a break-in. Just a quiet room, a still figure, and a laptop screen still glowing in the darkness, displaying an ominous line of code, a message, almost mocking us. Emma had been working as a journalist, and as we soon found out, she'd been digging into a hidden world of cyber criminals, uncovering secrets no one was meant to find. As we went through Emma's computer, we found traces of hacking activity in nearly every corner of her online life. Passwords cracked, accounts hijacked. Her life was an open book to someone. She'd received threatening messages, each one more intimidating than the last. And it wasn't just idle threats. This hacker, who we eventually identified by the alias Cypher, had infiltrated her life down to her finances, her friends, even her daily routines. Every digital step Emma took was watched. This was no ordinary hacker. This was personal. Digging deeper, we found evidence linking Emma to a dark web forum. She'd recently uncovered a network of criminals trafficking in stolen data and personal information. Emma had been close to publishing her findings, exposing these criminals, and Cypher knew it. We suspected that her investigation had led to her untimely death, but with no physical evidence and no clear cause of death, we were chasing shadows. Digital ones, hidden in encrypted messages and dark web forums. I knew if we were going to solve this, we had to beat Cypher at his own game. We realized the only way to catch Cypher was to lure him out. My team and I planted a digital breadcrumb trail, a seemingly unprotected link suggesting access to vital evidence on Emma's case. It was risky, but it worked. Cypher couldn't resist. He accessed our link, unaware that we were tracking his every move, carefully monitoring his location, piecing together the digital clues he left behind. Our trap worked, and Cypher's activity led us to a hidden apartment in the city's outskirts. There, amid servers and monitors, sat the man who had orchestrated Emma's demise. When we confronted him, he was cocky, convinced he'd left no physical evidence tying him to her death. But there was one thing he hadn't considered. Emma's smartwatch, which had recorded her movements the night of her death, placing him directly at the scene. Cypher's arrogance was his undoing. He thought he could erase every trace, but the digital world has its own shadows, ones you can't always hide. Cypher was sentenced, and Emma's story, her courage in exposing the truth, remains. Cases like these remind me that the digital world is as dangerous as any back alley. We often think we're safe behind our screens, but the truth is, every click, every message leaves a trail. My advice? Be cautious with your digital footprint. Protect yourself, guard your privacy, and remember that sometimes the most dangerous threats are the ones we can't see. Thanks for listening to this investigation. Follow and subscribe for more stories like Emma's, real cases where we uncover the truth behind every crime. Join me as we dive into the shadows to expose the hidden dangers and solve the mysteries lurking behind closed screens.